The psychology of people with extremely high IQs often looks boring from the outside. Not cinematic genius, more like a work meeting where you say almost nothing. Everyone is moving through the spreadsheet and you keep adding fragments in the Notes app. You see the weak assumption. You see the missing customer. You see the number that does not match the story. But saying it too early would turn one loose thought into a room-wide debate. So you wait. An hour later, from the parking garage, you send one clean Slack message. It catches the real problem everyone missed. That is how someone can be too smart to seem smart while the room is still judging the silence. The delay can look like uncertainty, but inside, you were filtering timing, risk, accuracy, and usefulness all at once. You looked quiet because speaking too soon had a cost. And if intelligence is not always visible in the moment, what is your mind doing while it looks still? You reread one group chat message while your thumb hovers over the keyboard. The words could be harmless, annoyed, or quietly asking you to fix something. Everyone else has already dropped a meme and moved on. You are still deciding what the sentence is really doing. This is where high intelligence gets misread. Not every quiet person has an extremely high IQ, and not every person with an extremely high IQ is quiet. But high-capacity thinking is not always a performance style. It does not always look fast, loud, or socially smooth. Sometimes it looks like hesitation because your mind sees 5 possible meanings before choosing one reply. One part of you notices the joke. Another part checks the tension underneath it. Another part calculates whether answering honestly will make the room weird. From the outside, that can look distant, anxious, or weirdly slow. The line is thin. A flexible mind creates options. A frightened mind keeps checking the same option for safety. Sometimes both are happening under one blinking cursor. So you did not miss the joke. The easy reply became a tiny social risk assessment. And when the outside task is too easy, your mind may quietly build a harder one. You stand in line at Target, holding toothpaste and a frozen pizza. Somehow, your mind starts fixing a work problem no one asked about. The cashier asks if you want a receipt, and for half a second, you are gone. Not gone in a dramatic way, just 3 steps deep in a thought that began with the price of paper towels. Later, in the car or under the shower, the missing line for the email suddenly appears. You were trying to think about groceries. Your mind was using the empty space. This can look like distraction because the visible task is simple. Pay, smile, grab the bag. But when a task does not use much attention, extra capacity can start searching for something heavier. Psychologist Michael J. Cain from the University of North Carolina at Greensboro found in 2007 that 124 undergraduates signaled during daily life for 1 week reported more mind-wandering during low-demand activities when they had higher working memory capacity, while staying more focused during demanding tasks. That means the target line matters. The simple moment did not demand all of you, so the unused part went looking for a harder object to hold. Not because you were careless, because your attention was underloaded. That does not make every racing thought brilliant. Fear can circle the same sentence 10 times. But when the thought keeps branching into useful connections, that is a different kind of noise. Back at the register, the cashier is still waiting. You blink, say no receipt, and realize you were solving Tuesday while standing in Saturday. Someone at dinner asks what you think about moving to a new city. Your fork pauses over the plate. Before answering, your mind checks the job market, the rent, the loneliness, the friend group, and the thing nobody has said out loud. Across the table, someone shrugs and says, "Do it, you'll figure it out." Suddenly, your careful answer sounds weak. Not wrong, weak. That sting matters because fast answers often sound confident in a room. Layered answers sound hesitant because they arrive with footnotes still attached. You are not only asking, "Is this a good idea?" You are asking, "What would make this fail, and who would pay for it?" That is not the same as spiraling. Spiraling keeps checking the same fear for comfort. Careful thinking keeps finding variables that actually change the answer. Psychologist David Dunning from Cornell University found in 1999 that Cornell students in the top quartile on a grammar test scored around the 89th percentile, but estimated their ability around the 72nd percentile, while low performers overestimated themselves. So the dinner table pause is less mysterious than it looks. More skill can come with more awareness of where the answer could break. The pause is not proof that you know less. Sometimes it means the answer has too many branches for one clean sentence. Back at the table, your fork is still in your hand. Everyone is waiting for the simple version. And the simple version is the one your mind trusts least. You pace around the kitchen with your phone in one hand, trying to answer a text that should have taken 10 seconds. You say half a sentence to nobody, delete 3 versions, open the fridge for no reason, and suddenly hear what you actually meant. If someone walked in, they would see you by the sink, whispering the rough version before you type the clean one. It looks strange from the outside. From the inside, the words are helping you catch a thought that keeps slipping away. Speaking out loud can turn a foggy idea into something with edges, not because it proves you are smarter than everyone else, because sound gives attention a handle. The messy spoken version is sometimes the scaffolding for the clean written version. In the Quarterly Journal of Experimental Psychology study, Self-Directed Speech Affects Visual Search Performance, psychologist Gary Lupian from the University of Wisconsin-Madison found in 2012 that adults found familiar objects faster when they said the target name out loud than when they searched silently. That matters here because the same mouth-level cue that helps someone find an object can also help you find the shape of a thought before you send the text. So the kitchen whisper is not a quirk. It is your attention tagging the thing it needs to hold. Useful verbal organizing gives the sentence a clearer shape. You lie in bed replaying a normal conversation from earlier. Your phone is face down on the nightstand. Nothing terrible happened. But one sentence keeps lighting up like it might contain a hidden problem. At first, this feels like depth. You are catching tone, context, timing, what you missed. Then the loop stops giving you anything new. It just keeps asking for one more pass. This is the part people confuse with intelligence. Seeing many angles can be a strength. Watching yourself think can help you catch a lazy assumption before it becomes a bad decision. But there is a difference between opening new doors and standing at the same locked door, touching the handle every 30 seconds. Psychologist Susan Nolan Hoeksema from Stanford University found in 1991 that 137 Stanford students assessed before and after the Loma Prieta earthquake showed a clear pattern. Students with a ruminative response style reported more depressive symptoms 10 days after the earthquake and again 7 weeks later. So the bed scene is not just a busy mind. It is repetition being used to manage emotional threat. The sharper question is not, do I think a lot? It is this thought giving me new information or asking for another round of reassurance? Smart thinking usually changes shape. It connects the conversation to timing, tone, context, and what might happen next. Fear-based replay stays flatter. It keeps returning to the same sentence, hoping the next replay will finally make your chest unclench. The room is dark. The phone is still untouched. You already checked the memory. Now the memory is checking you. You walk out of your apartment thinking through a work problem. The door locks behind you. Then you realize your keys are still on the kitchen counter. For a second, you just stand in the hallway, embarrassed. How could your mind hold the complicated thing and still drop the simple thing? Later, someone jokes that you are book smart but useless with real life. You laugh because everyone else laughs, but it lands too close. That is the cost nobody sees. From outside, it is funny. From inside, it feels like one small failure erased all the hard thinking. Mental intensity is not always a gift. It can solve a problem and drain the person solving it. Psychologist Ruth I. Karpinski from Pitzer College found in 2018 that in a survey of 3,715 American Mensa members, 26.7% reported a mood disorder and 20.0% reported an anxiety disorder, both higher than the comparison rates used in the paper. That does not mean intelligence causes suffering. It means the gifted story is too clean. A fast, hungry, pattern-seeking mind can be useful and exhausting in the same afternoon. Sometimes it builds the missing solution. Sometimes it checks for danger in a more respectable outfit. So when the keys are on the counter, brilliant or broken is the wrong question. The better question is quieter. What is this mental intensity doing right now? Because the same engine that solves the problem can also burn fuel at midnight. Your phone is beside the bed, but your mind is still scrolling through the day. The meeting, the text, the weird pause after your joke, the answer you should have given 3 hours earlier. At first it feels like insight. Then, you notice you are not finding anything new. You are trying to make the same moment stop feeling risky. That is the private test. Is the thought making something, understanding something, avoiding embarrassment, or checking for danger? Those can feel identical at 12:40 a.m. Same ceiling, same tight jaw, same sudden need to solve your entire personality before breakfast. The difference is what happens after another pass. Real processing adds a piece. It changes the shape of the problem. Fear keeps asking the same question in a nicer outfit. So ask the question only you can answer. When your mind will not stop, is it building clarity or trying to feel safe? The answer usually shows up in the smallest scene: a delayed text, a quiet meeting, a locked door, a sentence you finally understand while brushing your teeth. You leave the room still looking quiet. In the car, in the shower, or halfway through brushing your teeth, everything suddenly arranges itself into one clean sentence. Then you send the late message that sounds simple. Nobody sees how long it took to build. That is the part people miss. They see the silence, not the sorting. They see the delay, not the pressure of choosing a sentence that will not waste time, expose too much, or start the wrong fight. Maybe you were not slow or distant. Maybe your mind was still processing what everyone else skipped. The clean sentence was late because it was carrying the whole room. Drop quiet if people have mistaken your processing for distance.